Hello everyone, Bill Parish here, along with Dick Diamond from GTT Audio and Video. Welcome to the channel today. Today we thought we'd do something a little different, Dick.
Yeah.
And in our last video I told you I would do a couple of product videos, and I had mentioned the Vivid G4s2. And here we are in front of them. This is our demo pair. They get a lot of listen. We're going to get into it. We're going to give you a little refresher on Vivid and Vivid's technology. And then we'll tell you why this speaker is so special. But Dick, you might, this has been Dick's reference the last few months. Dick got a pair at his house out in Utah, and you've told me you've never listened so much.
I know, and I've said this before. I apologize in the fact that I'm repeating myself, but yeah, literally in the last 8 months since I've been listening to Vivid speakers, I've listened more than I have in the last 8 years. So there's just something so exciting about the product.
It's super exciting, super terrific. Makes me think of that Seinfeld episode, the Jerry Seinfeld, what is it, super terrific?
Oh, right.
Happy hour or something like that. These things are so much fun. They're a connoisseur speaker, but they're perfect for small rooms, big rooms. Before we get into that, they are part of the Giya series.
Yes.
Yes, they're small. We've got, I don't think you can see them on the camera, maybe a little bit. You know what the spirits are over here on my left, on Dick's right. But these guys, like all Giyas, are a four-way design. You've got a tweeter, a mid-range, a mid-bass, and two woofers. So it's a four-way design. All Vivid speakers are made out of, well, I like to say it's an F1 chassis. You know, I mean, you got glass, resin, this stuff called Soric core, which is the material, the center, the core material. I believe it's a polyester honeycomb material, and it has channels in it to allow the resin to flow and set. And then they do the same thing on the opposite side. So if it's this speaker that is about 60 pounds, or the big speaker that's about 150 pounds, most of the weight is in the driver, the driver magnets, which are, all the drivers are built to pro specs. So we don't have issues with drivers, not unless someone's in there poking their fingers on the dust caps of the mid bass units. Other than that, we've been bulletproof. All the drivers are hung on or are suspended on silicone bands.
Yeah.
So they do not touch the cabinet. And then in the back, there's a bolt that secures the tapered tube, and it is also on a silicone band. So the drivers, the back of all the drivers, are, the back wave goes into an exponential tapered tube filled with wool of varying thicknesses, and then that is attached to the back of the cabinet.
And what that does is dampens not only mechanical resonance, but back wave resonance off that driver. And it really, really works to lower distortion and lower noise and grain artifact.
Right. So every driver's in its own cabinet. And and then the bass, you see the port, and it is a port. But this is also a tapered tube to handle and eliminate the resonance of the port.
Yeah.
Because all tubes have resonance, so let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of the negative, so you have a speaker that's a ported speaker that doesn't sound like a port.
Exactly.
It definitely doesn't. It's sealed. It sounds like a sealed cabinet. That's the one other thing. So, people wonder why there are 6 spikes on the bottom. But if you look at the bottom and you look at the cabinet, Three's not going to do it. Four's not. You do need the 6 spikes. You need the 6 spikes to go around the perimeter of the base. But they come with spikes, and they come with almost like a Delrin foot.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And that's for hardwood or ceramic floors, marble floors, whatever you have. And then the spike is strictly to penetrate a carpet. This is very important because audiophiles like to think of how can I improve it by a footer. You're not going to improve a Vivid speaker by a footer because a footer doesn't matter because of the tapered tube technology and the way the cabinet's designed and the entire philosophy behind the design, which actually works. The cabinet stores no energy. So if it's sitting on a Delrin foot, on ceramic, or if it's on a hardwood floor, on a spike, it's the same sound. It's the same sound. There's no resonance in the cabinet. There's no energy stored in the cabinet. We like to, when playing demos, especially on the big guys, where we can produce the 20 hertz thunderous bass when you're sitting at the chair, your pant legs are moving, and then we tell the client to come up and put their hand on the speaker. And you hear nothing.
You feel nothing.
You feel nothing.
Yeah.
You feel nothing. That proves that the theory is correct. So, when you buy Vivid, you're buying the technology, and you don't have to buy the accessories.
Yeah, right.
Right? You buy it up front. All Vivid Giya speakers are bi-wireable, but they do come with jumpers, but they are bi-wireable. So you could buy wire, you can buy amp. I mean, you can, we're in this room, we're always bi-amping whatever the big speaker is. Huge believer in that. But Dick, you and I have talked about, you had the S12s, which are a little two-way. So how do these compare to a two-way?
Well, the S12 is a little slice of magic. I mean, it really is. And so, I got my feet wet with that. And they do so many things well. I've never, heard a bookshelf size speaker that sounds quite like those. But having said that, you jump up to the Giya series and you get just some amazing things. They expand on all of the qualities of the Kaya line. The S12 is an example. And they just take it a step further. What a Giya speaker does for you sonically is it informs that performing stage of exactly what is going on. It is just so amazing. You hear not only the dimensions of the venue or the performing stage, but you hear how every instrument reacts within that performance venue, and the sense of natural detail. It's tonally correct. The driver-to-driver relative phase is spot on. So they disappear as sources of sound. And it is just, not only is it technically perfect, it's emotionally captivating.
It truly is.
I don't like him very much, as you can tell.
Well, Dick has heard me say over and over and over, these are two-way killers. Two-way killers, and I have a lot of experience with two-ways, and probably talking to a lot of you that I have sold a two-way to, and a two-way is kind of a connoisseur speaker because, well, it doesn't do everything like the low end, but boy, in the mid-range and the way it disappears. Well, this, I started the video as a connoisseur speaker as well. Mm-hmm. It does do everything, but it disappears like a two-way. It's got that mid-range magic. It does give you bass. I've yet to hear a Vivid speaker overload a room, which is really interesting, the way it connects to a room and just plays for the room almost. That's a weird thing. But these speakers, listen, I sold hundreds of Karma 3.2s.
Right, yeah.
Sold dozens of the Karma mini exquisites. We sold dozens, many dozens of the YG Carmel 2s. With this speaker, I doubt I will ever sell a two-way again. Why? It has the same footprint as a two-way. This will fit in any small room. Coincidentally, it plays in very large rooms. It sings in this room. We've had it set up in this room. But it's got the footprint of a two-way. Oh, and if you wanted to, you could pick it up and put it away at night. But it is a small little speaker that plays huge, will play in any room, and disappears like that two-way, even though it is a four-way.
Yeah.
It sounds like a single source.
I was just going to say, these drivers speak like one voice.
Yeah.
There's absolute coherency between all the drivers. There's none of that, I can hear the tweeter now, I can hear the woofer now. None of that segmentation. It is one voice, perfectly coherent.
And true to the source.
Yeah,
true
absolutely.
to the source.
You hear...
I mean, this is not, don't hook up a Denon receiver to this. This is a reference grade speaker, and hook up reference grade electronics to it, and it will pay you back.
Yeah.
Many fold. This is something, if you've got a small space, but you want the best that you can have, you buy this, and you just forget about everything else. At the end of the day, this is the last speaker you buy, and it just it'll just pay you back. It'll give you countless hours of music. You can play everything through it, including video. You're not going to use a pair of two-ways for your video system without blowing out your mid-bass woofers.
We even watched my favorite college football team last night through a pair of Vivid Giya series speakers, and it was exciting.
The G2s. Yeah,
that's right.
G2s with a pair of Kalugas hooked up to it, and oh my.
It was just fantastic.
We thought we were in the stands.
You know, the one thing about these speakers too is that a lot of speakers that have, say, a big sound stage or whatever, they do that same sound stage on every recording.
Oh yeah.
But with these speakers, every recording sounds different. If it's what a studio engineer calls a dry recording, one with very little reverberant quality, you get that. If it's a cavernous venue, you hear that. Every sound stage is different. And that is not the case with a lot of speakers who just seem to throw up a sound stage that's the same regardless of recording.
Yes.
So when you say true to the source, that comes to mind as well.
Exactly. It lets you know what's going on in the recording. I mean, this with a Watt, with a Humboldt.
Oh yeah.
Even with a
the Kula integrated from
I was going to say
Bolomola.
with a Kula, you're driving yours with a Kula, and it's which has the built-in Tambaki DAC in it. Just absolutely phenomenal.
Transparent, detailed, and 3D.
The True Life Audio, the TLA integrated on these. We heard that the other day.
That's
pretty
great.
Shocking.
Maybe we'll talk about that in another video.
Yeah, yeah. Ed and Calvin were in and heard that, and it was that was great. Do you have anything else to add?
Well, if I started adding things, that'd probably get a little silly, and you'd get tired of my flowery descriptions of how exciting the sound is of these speakers. So maybe I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, well, guys, we're definitely excited. Hopefully we shed some light on this, as piqued some interest, and thanks for watching. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.